Hello, and thanks for joining us. Today we will be discussing abstract reasoning tests to understand what they are exactly and how you can prepare for them and help yourself get a good score. An abstract reasoning test is a broad term for any test that measures cognitive ability through nonverbal and non-numerical questions. In these tests, you are tasked with identifying hidden rules in visual information, such as shapes or patterns, and then identifying which of the options in front of you best fits the rule you found. Many experts consider abstract reasoning to be the purest form of intelligence, since it does not rely on your familiarity with a certain language or the math you studied at school. This is why abstract reasoning is one of the 3 pillars of cognitive assessments, along with verbal and numerical reasoning. Abstract reasoning tests come in many shapes and sizes, and depending on the question, you may need to take various elements into account, such as movement, direction, size, shape, color, pattern, and more. There is one common idea that connects them all, however: finding a pattern in abstract information. Let's have a look at 2 of the most common forms of these challenging tests. In abstract reasoning matrix questions, you are presented with a 3x3 matrix in which 8 squares contain a shape or figure, while the 9th one in the bottom right corner is left empty. Let's have a look at an example. As you can see, there is a change that occurs between each square, whether we move down along the rows or to the side along the columns. Our job is to identify the logic behind these changes in order to understand what the pattern in the empty square should be. Perhaps you noticed that each row and column contain one pattern that is then broken down into 2 parts. For instance, in the second column, we see that the top pattern contains the 2 below it. Now that we have identified this rule, try to select the right answer among the options on the screen. Based on the rule we identified, we can now examine the bottom row or the right column. We can see that in both cases, we have the larger pattern, which combines a striped rectangle and an empty white square. Since we can see that the white square is missing, we can safely say that this is the correct answer. Another common variation of the abstract reasoning test is the next in series question. In these types of questions, you must identify the hidden rule based on only one row of patterns that changes as you progress, as opposed to a matrix. Although there is a visual difference between the 2 questions, the logic is the same: identify the hidden rule. Let's have a look at another sample question. The confusing thing about this question is the disappearing circle, but when you identify the pattern behind the movement of the circle and the square and how they coincide, it makes sense. In this question, the main element we want to pay attention to is movement. The circle jumps between the top left and bottom right corners, while the square moves counterclockwise between the corners of the frame. We can see therefore that in the second frame, the square is merely covering the circle. According to this rule, try to find the right answer. Abstract reasoning tests are a central part of many leading organizations' selection processes and could therefore have a significant impact on the next step in your professional or educational career. In this video, we reviewed just a couple of specific sample questions, but the variety of abstract reasoning questions you could face in your test is huge. The best way to ensure that you are prepared for your test is to solve as many different abstract reasoning questions as you can before the test, and sharpening your skills in the many different elements of this challenging cognitive ability. Click on the link to learn more about the preparation opportunities available through Job Test Prep. Good luck!